So Uchechi, Ayesha, Donovan, Jeff, you lot were just shining in this entire episode and you took it with your bare hands.
But until then, you say slavery was a choice? I think you're a fucking idiot.
He's gotten to the point where he feels as if his money should buy him access into the world that he's looking for. Yeah. And it's literally, and I've always said this, it's literally driving him insane.
And compared him to a Sambo figure, because I really feel like Kanye is taking it upon himself to become a mouthpiece for like basically racist white America. And I'm not sure if it's because he's so transcended race that he literally is forgotten that he's black or doesn't want to be black.
The way that we consume celebrity is not healthy either. Right. Are we very different than Kanye? No, we're not.
Hey guys, it's Moran. Hope you guys are doing well today. So Grapevine is back. They've released a couple of episodes and I haven't been able to review them because I had no knowledge that they were back, so apologies. So in this particular episode, the topic of discussion is if black people should forgive Kanye West. And I feel like this topic is very interesting, very intricate, and I do like how we have a lot of different people from different backgrounds in terms of their point of view. So we're going to start off with Bolarin, and obviously his point of view is going to be somebody who he sympathizes with Kanye West, he understands him, he doesn't find his quotes and his slogans and his phrases to be as offensive as they should be. So although the majority of us may disagree with him, I do feel like having him there, he is definitely one of the most important people on that panel. Reason is because there are people like that who view stuff like that. You need to have somebody from every single point of view so that the discussion can be tangible, that it can be interesting, and that we can get different outlooks from different points of views.
And I understand what he's trying to say when he said something like that. It's almost like 400 years, and we didn't, there's always a choice. It might be death. But
although we may not agree with what he's saying, we need to have that outlook, that perspective definitely presented to us as viewers, as the audience. The discussions are very healthy, very formal, and they just make you, it arises this meditative state. I think I've said this before, that when you just look at people having such intellectual discussions, it's just so, you can feel your brain just being fed with such information. It feels really mentally good. Just like when somebody finishes at the gym, you just feel mentally well. So we're going to get to speaking of mental health. A lot of people were discussing how, Kanye does have bipolar disorder. Now, one thing that Donovan said that was very interesting to me, and I'm glad that he did, is that people might need to have some compassion because we are talking about serious mental health issues that we are not privy to as people because we have not experienced these issues. We are not bipolar ourselves. Therefore, our opinions of what's going on can only go on so far.
Are we different than Kanye? No, we're not. No. We're not that different. It's so much easier to look at somebody who's on a pedestal.
When you say that, what do you mean?
I mean that we all, like you mentioned, we all have a bipolar family member.
I'm just glad that he planted that seed in terms of mental health issues, mental health awareness, and that we need to have compassion for other people in that regard, for people who are not mentally well, for pain that we cannot see, but that, I feel like I'm very glad that he touched on that because I feel like that was definitely needed. He then goes on to say that somebody who is problematic like Kanye, but also bipolar, is a completely different equation for us to divulge and dissect, which I think, again, is great. Although he does highlight how Kanye is very problematic, how, the stuff that he said is very, very offensive, especially as a black person as well, especially as a black man, to be denying the slavery and states a choice and so forth, they can offend a lot of people. So the fact that he's saying all this, but at the same time, he's also highlighting the notion of mental health issues and how that can make something very, very complex. Then he goes on to say about how our consummation of celebrities is very unhealthy. We place them on a staple. We place them on this figment where they're just far more better, they're superior. When really and truly, we are all the same. So our consummation of them as well can only complex our views of what actually is going on, whether it's Kanye, whether it's anyone. So I find that very interesting. And we have Miss Ayesha, and I feel like once again, Ayesha just shines. When she's on the show, she's gonna come with the facts.
Is forgotten that he's black or doesn't want to be black or is renouncing it, but he's taking, I don't know, I won't analyze it, I'm not a Dr. Jeff, but I
feel like she just came through with that whole story with, Eddie Murphy at the top, and they thought it was a person with a gun and so forth, when it really was a cardboard cutout, and Kanye is that cardboard cutout, but because he has that money, he is privileged, he doesn't face as many microaggressions as people would face as opposed to him because of his wealth, his status. So in that manner, he is a privileged person. And I feel like he hit the nail on the head. And then Uchechi comes through.
What he's presented to us is what he thinks we want to see. Now, he's gotten to the point where he feels as if his money should buy him access into the world that he's looking for. And it's literally, and I've always said this, it's literally driving him insane.
And she talks about how he, as a person, you know, he's married this particular person, he's married the Kardashians, he's got into that world, you know, more doors should be opened up for him, but they aren't open for him. And why aren't they open? And it pisses him off and it irritates him. And this is why he makes these comments and makes this stuff, because it appeases to the white culture that are viewing him and that are buying his stuff more so than anybody. So, well, not more than anybody, I already know that, but like, he's appeasing to that entire audience because doors aren't opening for him, and he needs that, and he's frustrated that they're not. So I feel like that was something that was so informative, because it just gives a whole entire different outlook of how somebody has, you know, made a lot of music, you know, very successful in his career, great rapper as well, great producer, let's not get it twisted, and, you know, great, you know, when they came to the fashion line, people weren't opening the doors for him. Why was that the case? Would it be different if he was a white man? Most definitely. Would it be different if he was a non-black man? Most definitely. So I feel like those issues as well are definitely something that I feel are very important to the discussion. And then we have Jeff. Jeff was here from the beginning, and I was like, okay, Jeff, you better speak your speech.
I'm going to interpret for him. He does not pay me for that. And until he does, then I will advocate for him. But until then, you say slavery was a choice, I think you're a fucking idiot.
My guy was speaking, and I feel like, yes, I understand where he's come from, but I do feel like at times he can be a bit dismissive in regards to, you know, his mother's passing and so forth. But at the same time, what he does is that he brings a timeline of events that have occurred in the past that we may have forgotten, but then they have been feeding a narrative that we may have liked. This isn't, it's a different story. So I'm glad that he kind of just brought that whole scenario of, you know, George Bush doesn't care about black people, going to Taylor Swift and taking the award, all this erratic kind of behavior at the time. So things can be seen a bit, you know, it depends on if it feeds the narrative or not. And if it doesn't feed the narrative, they're going to have to, you know, present a psyche plan for them. And Jeff is like, well, I don't need to be doing that. So I do understand where he's coming from, and my guy was definitely venting and frustrating, but I feel like that only implored his points of view and helped us as an audience to engage with what he was saying. And I feel like Latasha, if I'm pronouncing her name wrong, I do apologize, and how she was reflecting on the point that he is a narcissist. And that was what it is. Kanye is definitely a narcissist. Somebody who would say something would happen, or, you know, say whatever he wants freely, but then if he's wrong, or if he gets, you know, if he gets backlash, he then finds something, a unit or a sphere or something to blame for why he was behaving in that particular way. No accountability can be taken. People can't take accountability, but they blame everything else. It's definitely a diagnostic criteria for somebody who's narcissistic. And obviously there are a plethora of them. And child, I can speak about narcissist people all day damn long because I'm surrounded by them, believe me, no shade, no tea. So I definitely understand that point. I definitely feel like he is a narcissist. Whether he's covert or overt narcissist, that can be discussed on a different day. But I do feel like that's definitely what he is. Overall, I was enjoying this video. I feel like it was a great discussion, and I'm glad that they don't dissect it into part 1 and part 2 for each topic. I feel like that's just a bit, for some people, they might not want to be watching 2 videos. So I'm kind of glad that they kind of fixed that. It definitely gives it a little bit cleaner and efficient look. The discussion stuff was definitely amazing and intellectually feeding. The people that were shining for me was definitely Ayesha and Donovan, the top 2 for me, and Jeff and Chechi as well. Those 4 I feel like were the powerhouse of this entire panel, but everybody else was great as well. This was a great discussion, and do let me know what you guys think of my review. Do you guys enjoy it? Do you guys not? Just let me know and comment down below, and let me know what you guys think of Ayesha and Donovan and so forth. Hit me up on Instagram, please, and definitely subscribe. I would massively appreciate it. The details are all below on this particular video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will most definitely catch you guys soon.